A hyena roamed the savannah in search of food but didn't really know that it would become lunch itself. A huge python caught the predator. The struggle was off camera, but the operator managed to capture its outcome. The hyena is defeated. Although its powerful jaws could have torn the snake apart, the python blocked them. In addition, the massive snake managed to paralyze the hyena's limbs and its entire body with its coils. The python's length is approximately twice that of a hyena, but the reptile's main advantage is not its size, but its strength. The entire body from the neck to the tail section of the python is a weapon. Tight and powerful muscles can instantly contract and squeeze the victim with incredible force. This not only hampers breathing, but also causes damage to internal organs, increases blood pressure, and crushes bones. So after falling into the python's trap, the hyena had almost no chance. The python usually seizes the prey after the first precise bite. Then it strangles an adult hyena within minutes. The cheetah thought its incredible speed would allow it to easily deal with the snake. It cautiously attacked the reptile, and only this saved the spotted predator's life and eyes. After all, it made a mistake in choosing the target, attacking not just any snake, but a spitting cobra. These reptiles hunt just like any other snakes, living in an ambush or stealthily approaching the prey to deliver a venomous bite with their fangs and inject powerful poison into the prey's body. However, for self-defense against large and swift enemies, they've developed a huge, unique tactic that is nothing like their hunting method. The cobra raises itself above the ground and spreads its hood. If the opponent doesn't retreat after this warning, then the snake shoots venom at them. The channels delivering toxin to the venomous fangs are directed not downward, but forward. By contracting special muscles, the cobra releases a stream of venom in a wide arc. During the shot, it twists its head to ensure the drops of venom hit as much area as possible. The cheetah was lucky. It was cautious and careful enough not to get too close to the enemy. The venom only hit the fur, which posed only a slight discomfort. But if it had approached one step closer, the cobra would have hit it in the eyes. A sufficient amount of toxin, when hitting the eyes, corrodes the cornea, risking irreversible vision loss. Fortunately, producing such a venom is a quite complex task, and the cobra saves its primary weapon for later. This allows the cheetah to retreat to a safe distance. It remained unharmed, but it will not ever approach this cobra ever again. Sea snakes may seem entirely harmless compared to formidable and aggressive taipans or cobras. Indeed, these reptiles preferring water have a mild temperament. They rarely attack large creatures and try to avoid conflict whatsoever. To avoid this, sea snakes have a body well adapted for swimming. Their tail section is flat and elongated like a fin. Thanks to this, along with their slender, flexible body and small head, these reptiles can quickly escape threats. They can also slip into any crevice or shelter. Their favorite prey is fish. Due to the vibrant life and a variety of species in warm waters around coral reefs, there is high competition amongst living creatures. This stimulates the development of different tactics for predators and their prey to confront each other. Here, this fish thought that it was safe. Its slender body allowed it to slip into a very small dark crevice, making it almost impossible to detect. Additionally, the fish's body is narrow but elongated, making it challenging to grab and pull out of its hiding place. But underestimating sea snakes is not advisable. The reptile effectively tracks its prey underwater and quickly finds appetizing fish there. It lunges at the fish, which didn't have time to escape or resist. One bite and the snake is already swallowing its target. Sea snakes are among the few reptiles that can only bite but also swallow prey underwater without the risk of choking. Moreover, their throat is stretchable, allowing the reptile to even swallow fish of awkward shapes. There are several different species of sea snakes, but despite variations in color and other differences, they all share a quite slender body and a small head. Interestingly enough, the moray eel looks much more menacing with its terrifying jaws, glassy eyes, powerful teeth, and wide, flat, long body. The moray eel is a fish, but it looks more like a dangerous snake than sea snakes themselves. Apparently, the effectiveness of self-image work made the moray eel underestimate its opponent. Instead of quickly fleeing upon seeing a sea snake, the larger and more powerful moray eel went into battle. It wants to fight the snake and eat it, diversifying its menu. The moray eel just didn't know who it was dealing with. The sea snake bravely engages in battle and sinks its teeth into the opponent. Although the reptile's body is slender, it's incredibly strong. The more massive fish seems stronger only at first glance. Due to more developed musculature, the snake surpasses the opponent and easily overwhelms it, even though it looks twice as thin. The confrontation of sea inhabitants looks dynamic and epic as opponents twist, try to entwine each other, and simultaneously swim in the water, maintaining balance. The moray eel can no longer hide in the crevices between corals. The snake has tightly clamped onto it and started to swallow. The fish has no strength left to resist. The thing is, sea snakes are the most venomous in the world. Of course, the moray eel didn't know that a small, agile opponent could defeat it with a single light bite. The blood circulatory system of fish is fundamentally different from that of terrestrial creatures. Sea snakes lived on land hundreds of thousands of years ago, but with each generation, they increasingly moved into the sea. Gradually, but inevitably, reptiles fully, or almost fully, transitioned to an aquatic lifestyle. However, the toxin that effectively protected them from predators on land didn't really work on fish. Due to the peculiarities of the structure, the poison simply didn't affect them. Indeed, if, for example, a black mamba were to bite a fish, it wouldn't be a problem for the marine creature. Just imagine, an inhabitant of your aquarium can survive the impact of a toxin that would stop an elephant's heart. How did sea snakes solve this problem? Surprisingly, over thousands of generations of development, the organism sea snakes simply strengthened the toxin it already had, instead of forming a new formula that would only work for fish. As a result, the poison of modern sea snakes can cope with a young whale, and moreover, it easily and quickly does the same with a moray eel. Alas, the duel ends quite quickly, and the sea snake transforms from the moray's prey into a predator that swallows the fearsome fish. The feeding process looks frightening, as the snake expands almost twice its size when swallowing the long and large moray. An anaconda slithered through the jungle in search for food. Like other snakes, it explores the surroundings not only with the sight, but also with smell, constantly flicking its forked tongue. Finally, one of the longest snakes in the world noticed a cayman resting on a pile of leaves. Witnesses claim that the largest anaconda can exceed 18 feet in length. The evidence is scant, but you have to admit, if you encounter such a huge reptile in the jungle, you are not going to try to measure that with a tape measure, but you're going to run away as fast as possible. This anaconda is much smaller, but the cayman it found is also young. However, when the snake had already approached it within striking distance, the cayman unexpectedly lunged at her. The best defense is a good offense, right? The anaconda dodged and didn't allow the cayman's powerful jaws to grab its head. But the cayman celebrated victory in vain. It got involved with the wrong snake here, which could not be easily deterred with a single blow. The anaconda is strong on land, but its full potential is revealed in the water. Thanks to the buoyancy of the water supporting the snake's weight, its maneuverability increases exponentially. There are reptiles longer than the anaconda, but it is the most massive, meaning the most muscular, snake on the planet. So the cayman is wasting time chilling on the beach with capybara friends. As soon as it approaches the water, the anaconda attacks again. The details of the battle are left off camera because everything happens too quickly. A few seconds later, the Anaconda completely entwined the cayman with its body. Instead of trying to strangle it by squeezing just the neck, the snake affects the entire body of the reptile and suppresses its resistance. And when its coils inflict critical damage to the enemy's internal organs, the snake swallows the cayman whole. Llamas, guanacos, and alpacas are inhabitants of the mountains of South America. These very distant relatives of camels have neither humps nor huge dimensions. But at the same time, the ungulates look like some kind of an alien with their big, intelligent eyes, fleshy lips, and long necks. They look harmless, quiet animals, especially since local peoples centuries or even millennia ago domesticated some species of these herbivores and used them instead of horses. But do not underestimate them. These herbivores are great fighters. When this mountain lion attacked the guanaco, he immediately realized how much he had made a mistake. For a cat to be on the back of a victim's neck is already half the victory. It remains only to fill up the prey, get to the throat, and that's it, you can start eating. Well, this time, with the start of the battle against the llama, the adventures of the cougar have just begun. The herbivores seem to explode with energy and aggression, and the real rodeo begins. It seems that the puma is shocked by this development. The guanaco caused a real little earthquake here. It jumps from side to side, makes maximum altitude jumps, sharp jerks. It seems that it deliberately loses its balance in order to regain balance at the last moment, and the cougar was blown a little more to the side. The herbivore strikes the cougar many times with its own body, beats the predator so that it becomes a pity, and this is practically without the help of hooves. The cougar realizes too late that if it breaks, then such an aggressive animal will not just run away, but trample it and crush its skull with its hooves. It seems that the mountain lion is already in danger. We've gotta pay tribute to him. He is also a seasoned inhabitant of mountain ranges. Therefore, despite the risks, the cougar jumps on the victim's back again and again after each crushing fall. But the ungulate is too strong. The guanaco throws off the tired predator and breaks away from the case. However, this is not always the case. If the cougar can get to the ungulate's trachea, it will overwhelm the victim even 3 times larger than itself. The main thing is to get her off balance. The birds that live in the mountains are among the strongest and most enduring in the world. And some of the biggest ones. Just look at how a mountain eagle attacks a goat that is several times more massive. This is the golden eagle, which is rightfully considered one of the most powerful birds in the world. They live up so high in the Rocky Mountains that there are almost no trees there. This allows golden eagles to use original hunting tactics because their victims have no natural cover. The birds attack the prey in low-level flight, knock it down with a blow, but do not finish it off during a struggle on the ground, but rise up with it into the sky. To defeat such a serious opponent as a large ungulate, for example, the bird throws its prey off of a cliff. After that, even if the ungulate remains alive, it is not difficult for it to finish it off. If it wasn't possible to drop into the abyss, then the golden eagle can continue the attack on the ground. His own strength is enough to handle a young ungulate, even if it is much heavier. In some cases, the golden eagle raises its prey really, really high. Then all that remains is to let go, and gravity does the rest. But if the slope is gentle and the prey is especially heavy, the bird uses a different hunting tactic. It knocks the victim down, and together, predator and prey, they roll head over heels down the slope. During this, the prey receives a lot of damage due to impacts on rocks, and at the same time, the eagle constantly works with its claws, hits the back and head, targets the neck and paws. A golden eagle strike is a combination of the power of a ramming attack and penetrating stabbing wounds from its claws. It's hard to resist this. Due to the acceleration, the force of such an impact increases significantly and resembles a collision with a small car. And the claws not only grab steeper than the jaws of a bulldog, but also cause damage to internal organs. With luck, the golden eagle can break the victim's neck or spine right during the first attack. And even if the victim avoids such damage, survives, and continues to resist, she will consistently lose strength due to injuries. The bird uses its beak only at the final stage of hunting, when all that remains is to finish off the defeated and almost immobilized prey. However, you should not think that this tactic wields 100% results. You've already seen that really cool animals live in the mountains. And the herbivores here are not at all as shy as they are somewhere in the lowlands. When this golden eagle decided to knock down a mountain goat and drag it over sharp rocks, he did not take into account who he was dealing with. The ungulate turned out to be much too nimble. It fell, but managed to use its momentum to get to its feet. The golden eagle did not give up at this point either. This is a battle of worthy opponents. The huge bird uses its wings as a balance beam to get on top every single time. She threw the enemy into the ground again and again. They fell, tumbled, the goat received blow after blow, but at the same time managed not to only save his life and whole limbs, but to also crush the bird several times. For all its size, the golden eagle is much lighter than a goat. At this speed, the ungulate almost crushed the golden eagle several times. The bird is in shock. 1 minute she's on top, clutching the enemy's back with her claws, and suddenly he falls on her, presses down with his whole carcass, and then turns over and hits his head on a stone. It could not have lasted long, but the goat was saved by its cunning. He timed the moment correctly and allowed the golden eagle to rise above him, so that at the same time the next somersault he would hit the bird's head on a stone, and then slam it back there with his own body. Surprisingly, it seems that the golden eagle is still intact. The prey escaped. It was not worth getting involved with such a clever and brave mountain goat. Are the power and wingspan of the golden eagle impressive? Then you will be even more shocked by this mountain bird. This Andean condor is the largest flying bird in the modern world. The wingspan of this feathered monster is over 10 feet long. For birds that fly really well, this is an absolute record. There are streets in the world narrower than the wingspan of a condor. The shadow from the wings of this bird can really cover up a car. And when a condor is on the ground, its head is about the same height as a human. At the same time, the Andean condor is also the heaviest bird capable of staying in the air for a long time. Although some swans and bustards may be heavier, they do not really fly very well. But the Andean condor, on the contrary, spends most of its life in the air. At the same time, to save energy, he plans more often than he actively moves his wing to move. The shape of these wings is ideal for planning. Wide, powerful, straight, with an expanding silhouette and large flight feathers. Such wings perfectly catch airflows. A condor can spend hours without making a single flap of its wings. It feels the wind so well. On the other hand, the huge mass for a bird and powerful, but devoid of aerodynamic advantages, wings deprive the condor of speed. However, he does not need to move quickly. The condor usually feeds on carrion, which he looks out for on long trips over the Andes. The golden eagle gets lost next to the condor somehow, doesn't it? At the same time, you should not consider the condor just a scavenger. This bird is a great fighter. Too heavy for active hunting. However, it often engages in flights with terrestrial predators just to take away their prey. Do you see this giant? It's just a condor chick in front of you. There are cases in which a condor attacks a cougar and took away its freshly caught lunch. Wouldn't you agree that attacking a mountain lion to recapture its prey is a real feat? Even bears don't dare to do this, but the condor doesn't care. When his wings cover the valley, the animals can only run in different directions. When photos of this previously little-known cat began to appear on the internet more and more often, it caused a real furor. Isn't it cute? The size of the domestic cat, but very fluffy, long-haired with huge ears, expressive, curious eyes, and muscular, hard paws with large bare pads that hold a rounded body above the ground. Theories have arisen that a new breed of domestic cats has appeared. But then it became obvious that nope, this is not a pet, but a ninja cat who is a wild hunter. And do not underestimate this monster. In front of you is one of the most bloodthirsty, cruel, and strong representatives of small cats. And although he usually hunts small prey like rodents, even an MMA veteran would envy his combat experience. And all of this is because of the very specific behavior. A Manul almost never retreats from danger and prefers an honest fight to flight. Although a Manul himself does not like to be the first to start a fight with a larger opponent, in case of danger he doesn't really run away, but relies on disguise. Its long coat makes the Manul almost invisible in the rocks, surrounded by rocks, ledges, and gray sands. Therefore, if there is an enemy nearby, the Manul freezes. But if the opponent turned out to be attentive and noticed the Manula, the cat still does not run, it fights. So, reports that the Manul is a breed of domestic cat are wrong. The aggressive, unsociable, and introverted nature of this cat makes it absolutely unsuitable for keeping at home. The Manul is not tamed. The cat's fighting tactics are special. If many other predators do everything they can to protect their stomachs, then the Manul, on the contrary, lies down directly on its back. But this is not a clever maneuver. Everything is simpler. In this position, the Manul can fight with all four paws at once. The enemy will regret getting involved with this mountain cat. Manul will use his claws to literally tear apart the opponent. There are no evasions, tricks, and elegant maneuvers. Only suffering awaits this enemy. If the Manul is angered, he will want to inflict maximum pain on the enemy. Manul's claws cannot cause fatal damage to large enemies, but damage to soft tissues, opening up muscles and skin, weaken and will make any opponent cool his ardor. At the same time, Manul does not seem to know when to stop. If the enemy is already ready to retreat, it seems to only provoke the cat, which was just defending itself a couple of minutes ago. The Manul will crush the enemy, bring him to a stampede, and also add fangs to his arsenal. In terms of rage, only a honey badger or a wolverine can be compared to a Manul. However, who knows? Perhaps these robbers are lucky that their habitat does not coincide with the places of a Manul's life.